All right, the Las Vegas Raiders have a rookie who is already surprising in minicamp as it gets underway, and they have a coach that is unsurprisingly full of energy, even at 73 years old. Hey, if you are new to this channel, my name's Craig. Me and my buddy Chris, we are Lions fans. We started this channel after a different one, Sports Talk Detroit. Here's the deal. We love football, and we love teams that the national media doesn't talk about enough. And just maybe it's because of the division you're in. I don't know. But it doesn't seem like the Raiders are getting the love that they used to nationally. So we want to talk some Raiders football. But also we got that whole thing with the whole, Raiders and our Detroit Pistons of the NBA. It's this unique clash and collab. So we've always loved the Raiders and just understand kind of the fan base there as Detroit fans. So we love talking about the Raiders. But let's get into who is one of the people that absolutely surprised. And we're going to spend some time talking about your wide receiver, Jack Beck. Like, we are going to absolutely talk about this guy and what makes him so good. And there was really good questions that were asking about all that kind of stuff. But here's the first thing that stuck out to him before I get into talking about Jack. I want to talk about Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll decided, even though it was 90 degrees, that they were going to practice outdoors and not indoors. He put his gloves on. He backpedals on the field. He's working on his press coverage, like all this kind of stuff. Cornerback Darren Porter said it's funny, but he really appreciates it. To see that kind of energy in rookie minicamp this early in the process is awesome. And that's not something you usually see in the NFL, right? I mean, like, there might be a level of excitement in college. There might be some rah-rah stuff. But in the NFL, it's really impressive. And then, great. It's the first practice of the 3-day camp, and the energy level has to be high, and it's hot. Jack Beck was like, you've got to be conditioned. You have to be able to run all day. And I think, obviously, conditioning on your own and football conditioning is different, he said. I'm excited to keep coming out here and keep learning under one of the greatest coaches ever and keep sharpening not only my physical skill set, but my mental skill set too. And I think it's important to remember, as I show you just a reminder of what your draft class was, it's important to remember that you have guys sitting out here saying one of the greatest coaches ever. I think sometimes we forget that Pete Carroll might be that. The success that he had, yes, he did have success in the NFL before he went to USC. And then he had unprecedented success at USC. I mean, brought that program back to greatness. By the way, how has it been since he left? And then he goes to Seattle and has nothing but success. His entire tenure there, he had nothing but successful teams. There are many times where you could look at Seattle and the consistency. You almost want to call it a program when it's under Pete Carroll, but it was so similar even to like what John Harbaugh is doing with the Ravens, or what Tomlin has done with the Steelers, or whatever that looks at. So now he's on your team. And they're doing a professional draft, and when you hear stuff like this, here's what I want you to hear about Beck. And I'm going to give you, first, I'm going to start with just a crazy thing that most people may not know. We know about him at TCU. He was an outside receiver at TCU. But what most people don't remember, as a hybrid receiver tight end, as a true freshman at LSU, he was a receiver. He was part of a pass-catching group that included, wait for it, Malik Nabers, Brian Thomas Jr., Kayshon Boutte, and Trey Palmer. All four are in the NFL. By the way, he's also in the NFL too, right? Yet it was Beck who led LSU in receptions in 2021. And after the coaching change, he transferred to TCU but battled injuries in 2023 before breaking out as a senior. Look, he's only the fifth player in program history at TCU to break 1,000 yards. And it wasn't because he had the help of a great quarterback. This is a good wide receiver. And he showed it. I'm going to get into some of the stuff that he was really impressive with at practice. But this is what he said about his game. He said he aimed to model his game after, I'm going to give you a few names here, Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp. Also, former Raiders receiver Amari Cooper and Justin Jefferson. It's not a bad four guys to model your games after. He said with Nacua, it's his ability to use his body, leverage his physicality, and physicality to get open. With Kupp, it's how he understands the nuances of the game. With Cooper and Jefferson, it's their precise route running. And all of that was absolutely on display. People are saying he will be a day one starter. That's not a guarantee when you take a player at when you take a player at the back end of the second round. It's not a guarantee. Here's what he had to say, and I think this is a fantastic depiction of what you need to be a good wide receiver. He said, and this is the article, it said Beck isn't the fastest or the biggest receiver. He's 6'1", 215. He actually is really big. Like, if you go and you look at his RAS here, his size-wise, he's in the 88th percentile weight and almost the 70th percentile for height. He is not a small wide receiver. He also has decent explosion and agility. So, yes, he is a guy that isn't going to win with just pure physicality. I understand, or pure athleticism, but he does have it, and he has the physicality. But he understands the nuances. Here you go. He says it's more about understanding the different leverages and just understanding what the defense is doing. That is a combination of Nacua and Kupp right there. The leverages are Nacua. What the defense is doing is Kupp. And then taking it a step further, he said, you have to understand the nuance of the game and know where to attack. A big thing is knowing how to get open and when to do it. A double move, a stutter and go, or a slant and go might work great against a cover 3, where you can get them to bite. But that might not work well against cover 4 or cover 2. It's different things like that. That's how you'll last. That's how you become a great player. It's what is between the ears. Yes. And he has it. But that's the thing. It's not just that. I don't want to buy into this thing of, well, he's a kind of athletic. No, he is he has the correct athleticism in order to be a successful receiver in this league. But it has to be about getting open. All right, it has to be about getting open. All right, toward the end of the practice, he hauled in. I want you to hear this. This should be music to Raiders fans' ears. All right? It said he was consistently open Friday, and at the end of practice, he hauled in several deep balls during 11-on-11 drills. That all would have been touchdowns. All right? We don't know whether he'll spend most of his time outside or in the slot, but he'll be a day one starter if he keeps up this pace. That's the beautiful thing. He can play wherever you want him to. All right? So you have this guy who is already looking like a ready-made, finished, polished product. And then you have another guy that came out there and impressive, and that is Darren Porter. And he basically was impressive just because they said he is all of 6'2", right? And his 4.3 40-yard dash time absolutely shows up on the field. Remember, this is a guy who's transitioned recently from wide receiver to corner. So he has a lot of work to go. But again, Pete Carroll has a history of this. All right, Richard Sherman, Tariq Woolen. And by the way, Tariq Woolen wasn't as good last year when Pete Carroll was gone. I just want to be really clear on that. It's not just about developing corners. It's about putting them in a position to succeed. If you have the skills, you'll get there. All right? He said when they asked Porter about what he thought about those two things, he said they're both tall, long guys. I think athletically, I fit a little bit more with Tariq Woolen than Richard. I'm just looking to take all the coaching I can get to the level of those guys. He understands it. He understands it. So, day one in the books of the Pete Carroll era. And I don't know about you. How do you feel about rookie minicamp? I love it. I love it. I was just talking about this on a video that I did on Sports Talk Detroit. I love when you get to see the rookies come in and they put on that jersey of your favorite team. And you get to see immediately like, yup. And you just kind of get that feeling, don't you? Like as soon as you see them, you're like, oh yeah, they're going to be good. Or some of them, you see them in the jersey and you're like, I don't know if he's the guy. Right? You get to see those things. Just really excited. Football is not that far away. And I believe minicamp is the official start. So, hey, thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Hit that subscribe button. I love doing Raiders videos. I do. And we really cover like 5 to 10 teams on here. But Raiders are one of the teams we probably record on the most. All right, thanks for watching. See you on the next one.